as they say, I've got the deets on Gothic romance. So, XOXO, Gothic girl. I crack myself. I'm so cheesy. So cheesy. Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal and this is Books Forever After, where I sit on my floor, we talk about everything and all things books and nothing but the books. Okay, so we are talking about a Gothic romance or just Gothic books in general, Rex. And this is all in inspiration and anticipation for the Romance Readathon this year, which is hosted by Maggie's Book and Stuff. I will link her channel down below. It's a great, awesome, really fun readathon for the whole month of September. And this year's theme is Phantom of the Opera. I am just high on the rewatch the watch along that we did all in the Discord as well. So if you want to join the chat, that's where it's all the chat is happening, down in the Discord down below. I will link that there for you. Team Raul, so you know, second chance, friends to lovers, join the team. We're gonna have a lot of fun. And we're doing, yes, back to the start of this, Gothic book Rex. And I'm gonna do as much Gothic romance books Rex that I can do. I have about 8. And we'll see how it goes. And a few that are on my TBR. I will be posting a TBR very soon. I am in the process of doing that as well. So I think we're gonna start off by the most obvious one, or just the one that's really inspired Phantom of the Opera musical, and that is the Phantom of the Opera by, I forget, Gustav, whatever his name. I'll put a link somewhere up here, an image of the book. And that novel, it's not really a romance, it's just a mystery novel, which alluded to this kind of romance. I read it back in high school and it was not the greatest, but it is the inspiration to the musical. Love the musical, love the movie. With the movie musical, it's great. Now this list for me is short because I have found, and I've been searching like high and low, is because the only romance or Gothic romance that is very obvious is Jane Eyre. And Jane Eyre is one of my favorite novels. So I have 4 editions here. I have this one with deviled edges. This is the classic Gothic romance that I think of. I don't think everyone thinks of when they think of a Gothic romance, because it's a classic. It's actually, you know, in a Gothic inspired. It's in that has that supernatural element. So yes, I will put a little here the 4 kind of things to me that speak of a Gothic romance or Gothic book, and that is usually where the hero is very mysterious, luring. It's really, and what really cements it is the setting. It's that Gothic atmosphere, that Gothic setting that truly, I think, embodies what a Gothic book or Gothic romance really does. It's the setting, and that's what really does it for me. And I think that's what I'm looking for most of the time for a Gothic romance, is the setting. And then you also usually have like a virginal heroine, naive heroine, whichever that is, kind of like inspired. And usually there's some sort of mystery element, whether supernatural or just like a little subplot of a mystery going on. So that's usually what's going on, and that's kind of what we have. So as you can tell, that's really what we got in Jane Eyre. So as I mentioned, I have 4 editions because it's like my probably my only book that I own that where I own 4 copies of. I reread it several times. I love the movies. Watched all of them, all the BBC versions. But this one is really cool. It's a illustrated one as well, which I really fun. And this one is just one of those classics where it's very romantic for a classic romance. And that is something that if you haven't read Jane Eyre, I'm definitely going to be here. Some really awesome illustrations. I highly recommend that you read the actual read the novel by Charlotte Bronte. This is my gifted copy from my friend. Like the laser cut I just love it. And so yeah, this is such a great novel, and I found it was easy to read, and so it definitely embodies that Gothic, all the Gothic elements. So if you haven't read one before and you want to read one that's like historical and has that romance element, obviously there's no spice, you want to read Jane Eyre. That's like a very good foundation. The next one that I am recommending, that is probably recommended before, but it's the one that I read recently, or last December really, that I had heard about. It's contemporary, but it really embodies, it's really brought that joy that reading Jane Eyre had brought back to me, on that Gothic elements and the atmosphere and the mystery. There's really supernatural elements to this, and that is Gothikana by Runix. And I have I forget what edition this is, whatever book box it was. I actually read this on Kindle Unlimited when I had Kindle Unlimited. I find also too, like a school setting or like a Gothic mansion has those elements. So this one is set as a school. This follows, I think her name is Corvina, and this has like a professor-student relationship, but she's going to, I think it's a college academy, and her mother has just passed away, and they began a relationship. He plays the piano, which is like element to there, but there are rumors that he had murdered someone before. Now this has been a while since I read it, and it's very spicy, so if you're looking for that spicy element, I do believe that Runix is going to be publishing a historical version of this. I'm hoping that she publishes that at least by next year. I know there was some delays. She's had some personal things that have happened. But yes, I highly recommend this. This was a 5-star. I love this one so much. I don't know, for some reason, December was the perfect time. Like November, December is like the perfect time to read this, but it's getting to that spooky season. September is just the start of fall, so this highly recommend this one. And now I have a few more as well that are romance, and the first one I want to mention that you may not think of, but to me it just felt very Gothic, at least midway, and that is A Goddess of the Hunt by Tessa Dare. Now this one is her very first novel, I believe, that she ever published, and I really enjoyed this. I had read this as part of a book club, I believe. I think it was Historical Hellions, but I have like a couple years ago, I think, and I really enjoyed this. Now this is like a brother's best friend and seduction lessons. She's trying to go husband hunting. Say that 2 times fast. And she employs the help of her brother's best friend. So things ensue, and they do end up, getting married, arranged marriage or marriage convenience, because seduction lessons turn into something more and they get caught. Now the reason why I mentioned this is Gothic is because midway through they go to his estate in the country, and it just feels very Gothic. There's just mystery surrounding him. You don't know exactly what's going on, and the townspeople. So it has that mystery element, and just trying to find that he's just like hiding this backstory on it for him. So I found it really fun and interesting, and that may put you off, but like it's like 2 different books in one, but like for me it worked. The tone it changed, and I actually really enjoyed it, and I like that element of like it's starting out this kind of way, and then it turns even deeper, like darker and just more nuanced in the relationships that you discover about somebody. So I found that really interesting. It almost gave me I said this on Bee's Live, but it was like the Red Room scenario where she marries this husband, and he says, do not go, you can go in every room except for the Red Room, and because the Red Room is hiding dead bodies and things like that. So it gave that kind of vibes a little bit. So yeah, I like that element. It has hints of it. It's not exactly that, but it gave me those vibes. How about that? Gave me those vibes. And then next is part of a series that I've just have adored and just diving into and taking my time going through them because I'm just trying to savor each one. And that is the Victorian Rebel series by Kerrigan Byrne. Now I am holding up the very first one because I think it's imperative to read the first one to read the first one to read to the next one. However, I believe, in my opinion, the Highlander really embodies that Gothic vibes because it all takes place in this Scottish manor, this mansion where it's over by the Scottish moors, and it has that mystery supernatural element where she actually thinks she's going insane, but like there's someone in the house. He's very mysterious. He's been accused of murdering his wife and that kind of situations. There's a lot of things going on. I really enjoyed this one. There was a little bit of more of an emphasis on their sensual relationship, their physical relationship, less so on like as much of an emotional attachment. So for that reason, that was why this one was a 4-star for me. But I do highly recommend. I had a lot of fun reading it. I really enjoyed the Gothic setting to this one. This one is just 6 stars, all-time favorite. I haven't found anything like it just yet. But that is The Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne, and I have spoken ad nauseum about this. I won't go too much into it, but I will link the video where I was talking about my favorites on this one. And this has also, for the readathon, where we're doing Team Raul is Second Chance and Friends to Lovers. This has Friends to Lovers or Childhood Sweethearts, and also there is a second chance because she is a widow, so that would be a second chance. And there are also other elements or aspects to this that kind of give that second chance some nuance as well. So highly recommend. It has a very mafia vibes as well because he is Dorian Blackwell, I think his name. Yeah, Dorian Blackwell, Blackheart of Benmore, and he is the leader of this group that's kind of like a mafia group, kind of essentially, and he's basically an anti-hero. He's not necessarily a good guy. He was in prison long ago with his band of brothers, and one of his friends was her childhood sweetheart, and so they develop this relationship when he kidnaps her, as she is working as a secretary or something like that in the police station there, and this is in England as well, so they're the Scotland Yard. And he kidnaps her to the Highlands, into this manor estate. So that is why I'm tuning this as Gothic as well, because when he does kidnap her to this Highland estate, that it felt very Gothic. And my favorite scene in here is the bathtub scene. It is just filled, so tension filled. And the eeriness of that estate is also kind of made it great as well. And it was just such a very nuanced book and romance, and I really enjoyed that emotional tension and that delving into that whole trauma part of the hero, in which that is something that to me is very, very Gothic, and especially with the setting, because he's very mysterious and trying to understand the minds that he's working, and he wears gloves all the time, so that to me just feels very phantom-y and very, very dark. So highly recommend. Really, really love this one, and you won't regret it at all. That's for sure. I believe so. Next, we're going to talk about one that is my one book that I've only read by Stephanie Lawrence, and I highly recommend, and that is Devil's Bride by Stephanie Lawrence. And I have this lovely, lovely step back. Now, it's been a while since I read this. I read this again from, I think, another Historical Hellions book club, and that was a lot of fun. This was a 4-star for me. I really, really enjoyed it. It had a very Gothic setting. There's a mystery element. She's a maiden, and he's very mysterious as well. And there's a murder that happens, and you're trying to figure out who's murdering it. It became clear, somewhat a third of the way or 50% of the way to me, who the person was, but the connection to the two main characters was great, and I really enjoyed that, and their dynamic was just so great to to read, and I had a fun time enjoying it. Like, I really enjoyed this book, and this is the book 1 in the sister novels, and which is a very exhaustive series. I think there's like 20. So I'm gonna be on my journey to restart and reread this one, and so I continue with the sister novels. But that won't happen until after Victorian Rebels. However, this was really fun. This is a lot of fun, and I do recommend this for the Gothic setting. All right, now next is not. I have mixed feelings about this one, but it was enjoyable, and so that's why I'm going to put it on this list. This one I read as an arc on the book Sirens, and I think it was last summer, and as you can tell, that's what was drawing to me to this book, was it's Gothic romance, and that was what it was advertised as. So, and if you don't know, Book Sirens is really, they advocate it's all indie authors, and for that, it's kind of like NetGalley, but it's for indie authors, and it's more affordable for them, and it's actually niche to find and really connect these authors to their specific readership so that they can find each other. And so I found a Gothic romance, but it wasn't. I have issues. Now, this truly is a Gothic book, that's for sure. And it is what you call that one Jennifer Hartman book, when it says it's a non-traditional HEA, which means in happily ever after, which that is like the cornerstone of what a romance is. It has to have a happily ever after. This one has a non-traditional HEA, and there is also part of it as well is it's very closed door in a romance. It almost felt straight to me, and I think I put in that in my review, is I would prefer there had not to had been anything if you're just going to do a closed romance. It felt very, I don't know, like I wasn't being able to be immersed, and it just felt very weird, like why was that part in there? But yeah, so it follows the hero here it has a governess romance, so that's really what it drew me to it, because I was like, ooh, is this gonna be my next Jane Eyre? Like, love. It is historical. She is living in this rundown. Did I even say what the book was? No, I didn't. So this one is called The Quiet Stillness of Empty Houses by L.V. Russell. And it starts with this heroine who is going to become a governess. So she seeks out this advertisement because her grandmother has passed away, and she is living in this rundown home, and her grandmother has passed away, so she has no one really to take care of her. So she is looking for someone to help her with her governess. I may be getting this wrong, but that's what I remember. And she seeks out this estate. So she is traveling there, and she gets into an accident, and she's able to stumble into this manor, and she is welcomed into the hero, who is a widower, and his daughter, who would be her charge. Now, there are all sorts of things and spookiness happening. There's ghosts. She's seeing people in white happening. So you're like, is this place haunted, or is she going crazy? So it's that whole very Jane Eyre, is like, is their wife up in the attic kind of situation. So it's got that very, you don't know for sure what's going on, and the ending is non-traditional, and it's just a plot device that I did not enjoy. And to me, I thought it was kind of lazy. Like, I hate that kind of an ending that it left. So if you're going in there for the romance, this is not really for the romance. This is not a romance at all. Even with the romantic elements, I would say this is really just a Gothic book, and it's not really an HEA, in my opinion. With that said, I had a lot of time with the creepiness effect. It even got me a little spooked in certain points. So if you're looking for like a true Gothic, there's not like horror elements to this, but it's very it's very ghost story like, and I think if you want that, and it's perfect time for that, so that might work for you. And then the next, those were all the recs that I had. Now there are a few that I am having on my TBR. So I have 3 books that are on my TBR. I just wanted to mention them. Okay, so the first one is really like the Phantom of the Opera retelling, which by Grey Rivers, which I sing. This is also going to be on part of the buddy read that's in the Discord, so I had recommended this one because I heard everyone talking about it. I'm like, ooh, I want to read that. So this one is contemporary, but it's like a play on that. I think he's like a stalker. I'm not sure. Yeah, so definitely a Phantom of the Opera retelling, contemporary, stalkery kind of situation. I heard there's mental health rap here as well. But yeah, I kind of want to go into it blind. A lot of these, that's what it is, but it's Phantom of the Opera retelling, and I want to get those points. So, and then the next one that I'm really interested in reading is Master of Salt and Bones, which looks very Phantom of the Opera, but it has that element of she's going to this manor, I believe, and she's going to like this small town, and he is kind of like a recluse, and it has that very gothic element. So I don't think it's a Phantom of the Opera retelling, even though it looks like it would, because that's a musical notes on the mask. So very interesting, and it has that mysterious element. The MC is very anti-hero-ish. It has that elements of he's mysterious kind of situation, and there's a sensual late tension. So to me, that is just, like I said, my cup of tea. But then the next one I have is Not Decadia. This is also contemporary by Carrie Lake. I've been hearing such good things, especially from April, my friend here on BookTube. Her channel is Happily Ever April, and I think she's also going to be the Ballet Dancers. I think that's her team. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. But she's also a co-host in this readathon. And so yeah, this one's a contemporary. I got 2 Carrie Lakes that I want to read, and I've heard great things about both of those books, so I want to try them out. So there we go. So those are what I am leaning towards, and those will be my priority for the read. So I've heard great things. You might like them too. Alright, well that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Those are all the book recs I have. Like I said, I've been wanting to get some more gothic books. I've read a couple other ones, some YA ones that didn't turn out. But other than that, it's been really hard to find some good gothic book recs that I've enjoyed. And so if I didn't mention them and they're popular, it's probably why, because I didn't really enjoy them. So the search continues to find these gothic book recs, and the fall is the perfect time to read those and recoup that love of mine of gothic romance. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will have all the links down below, all of my links and all of the links for the readathon. I hope you join, and with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.